You go.
Welcome back to another edition of the Net Report podcast. I am not your host, Mike Broadbent, who couldn't make it today. I am your host, Alec Himmel, here with my co-host, Richie O'Leary. It's decision day for 2026 Pennsylvania defensive tackle Tavian Branch. Big-time Rutgers target down to, it seems like, Rutgers and Oklahoma. Originally, Penn State was in there as well, so we're going to get to his commitment. It's actually happening just about now, so we'll get to that right away. But first, this episode is once again sponsored by MyBookie. It's crunch time on the court, and the NBA playoffs are your chance to score big. Whether you're riding with the favorites or cheering for the underdog, every three-pointer, dunk, and buzzer beater is an opportunity to win at MyBookie. Place your bets live as the action unfolds. Feeling confident? Lock in your winnings early with our quick cash-out option. Never miss a chance to turn your basketball insights into real cash. New to MyBookie, sign up today with the promo code MM50. 50 and instantly boost your first deposit $50, and MyBookie tosses an extra 25, deposit 100, and you get an extra $50 bonus. More action, more excitement, and more chances to win during basketball's most intense playoff season. Plus, when the games wrap up, keep the winning streak alive at MyBookie's casino. Slots, blackjack, roulette, and more. The thrills never stop. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. So once again, it's decision day for Tavian Branch. Richie, I'm not sure if you're going to pull it up here.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up in a second. Real quick, a little insider stuff. It's between Alabama, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Rutgers, and Penn State. Penn State was the long favorite. Rutgers and Oklahoma are now the two finalists, it sounds like. Let's just get right into it because he's already talking. So if it's a little loud, I apologize. Turn down your volume. Where do I do this? There we go.
I want to definitely thank my mom for being as strong as she is through all the obstacles we go through and just different things that we had, just adversity we had, just cover, and just her being strong just through everything, just keep guiding me, try to be the best and most humble, most man I could be, and just growing up fast too. So I just want to thank her, and then also thank everybody that came here and just came here to support me. And also I want to thank my head coach for, being there through everything, the good and the bad, grinding with me every single day, all these people here sacrificing me, definitely him sacrificing me. And with that being said, I'll be committing to Rutgers. There we go.
Leave it up.
Hey, congratulations.
All right. Take out the whole coat with it. All right, give me a sec. It's still in my ear, so huge. Wow. Ooh, this ain't it. There we go. Huge news for the Scarlet Knights, beating out, like I said before, 3-star defensive tackle Tavian Branch, Riverside High School, Pennsylvania, beating out Penn State, who was the longtime favorite. Penn State, I feel like I'm uniquely qualified, I guess, to talk about this one.
Of course.
Yeah. Penn State, I feel like I'll just say it, they messed up pretty bad in this one. They recruited him as an offensive lineman from the get-go. They really wanted him as an interior offensive guard. A lot of people did, actually. But Kid wanted to play defensive tackle. Rutgers from the get-go wanted him to play defensive tackle. I remember going back to when Oklahoma and Penn State were kind of the two favorites, and then Rutgers was also involved. Those two schools wanted him as an offensive lineman. Of course, they switched their tune a little bit when they found out Branch wanted to play defense. But he's one of the better defensive tackles, not in just the Northeast, but in the country. And we actually got a chance to see it up close and personal at the Under Armour camp.
Yeah, we did. I thought he tested out really well in the drills. He's one of the 5 best defensive linemen. I thought he performed really well. I thought he tested pretty well as well. So yeah, I was really surprised that this was heading Rutgers' way. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be now that we know how good that they can be with the official visit weekends. But I really thought this was headed elsewhere, especially when he mentioned that he still had an open weekend after Oklahoma, Rutgers, and Penn State for his official visits. And he wanted to schedule another one. I believe it was Alabama or Notre Dame. I don't remember which one.
Alabama.
But
yeah, Alabama was pushing pretty too. And it's not the same Alabama as of late, of course.
Yeah, of course. But that's still Alabama. So I was really surprised this went Rutgers' way. Obviously a huge get.
Yeah, no, absolutely ginormous. I'm trying to post all the articles. But yeah, no, I mean, so I'm going to pop on his tape, actually, because let me see if I can pull that up. And it's interesting. I'm going to pop up two different tapes. I'm going to pop up his originally his high school tape, and you'll see why I want to use a different tape and not just this one. I don't know if you've watched it yet. Have you watched his high school tape?
I'm about to right now, but
it's I'm going to keep the volume off here actually, if I can. All right, here we go. Great numbers: 65 tackles, 25 tackles for loss, 40 QB pressures. When I first read it, I thought it said 400. But yeah, I mean, you watch his tape, look at the people he's going against. It's not the best league in Pennsylvania by any stretch of the means. You can really see it on this clip because I was watching it again this morning. It's like, oh my god, that kid's yeah, that kid's like my height and my size, trying to guard a 6'4", 300-pound defensive tackle. Now, mind you, he has a quick burst off the snap, and that's probably about the gist of what you can take away from a high school tape like this, because it is just, there's just no one out there that can really like compete or even try to block him. Very talented kid, has every skill in the book. It's just a matter of he needs to refine some of his technique. And that's kind of a given just based on the fact that, I mean, look who he's going against. It's really hard to judge based on the high school tape. Now I'm going to pop up the little clips we have from Under Armour actually, and I think this actually gives us a better view because you're going against 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5. Was there a 5-star? I think there was a 5-star there. Yeah,
I don't know.
Maxwell Hiller is pretty close.
Yeah.
Where is this? It's taking way too long to pop up. That's the problem. Share screen. Too many screen shares. That's the problem. Here we go. From the beginning. And now this is going against a lot better competition. Now the clips are a little bit far away. I think it gets a little closer in this next one.
Yeah, I think I was recording on 0.5. Sorry about that.
But you could see like he's dominating versus any of the offensive linemen. And don't get me wrong, offensive linemen, that one right there actually is who's that? Maxwell Hiller, who's like a high top 100 offensive lineman in the 2027 class.
I couldn't tell for sure which one that was.
I think that's Bertrand. Like these are all like Power 5 level kids, and he's just absolutely like bodying them. So it is interesting to see. When we got to see it up close and personal, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, this is a huge get because Oklahoma, as of 2 days ago, if you read our boards, like I reiterated what our Oklahoma site said to us, and they said they felt really good. They had a podcast yesterday, and shout out to the guys at the Sooner Scoop. They're the dudes at Oklahoma. They even said they're like, it sounds like Coach Bates like felt really, really good about this one. Like they felt like they were gonna win this one out, and Rutgers just wouldn't go away. You read all the old recruiting articles from the national analysts, whether it be Ryan O'Blenis with us or Chad Simmons with On3. They kept saying the same thing over and over again. It kind of feels like an Oklahoma Penn State battle, but Rutgers just won't go away. And that was the exact wording in about 4 different articles over the past 4 months. And it's just Rutgers consistency, Rutgers selling him on an official visit. This is just overall, I can't state it enough. This is the third, mind you, that was a Penn State lean in Pennsylvania that ended up in Rutgers' favor between Elias Koch, between YD Collier, between Tavian Branch. I felt all 3 were going to end up with Penn State, and I think a lot of other people did too. But in the end, Rutgers is just able to win out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's as much of a power move as you can get going into your, I guess we could debate the rivalry, quote unquote rivalry, but going into that territory and winning is not easy, especially it's not even like, Penn State's, these are Penn State's, I don't want to say leftovers, but the ones that they're backup options. They wanted these kids, the Rutgers, whether it was, ponying up for it or just wowing them on official visits or something like that, just they're able to win these. Yeah, it's there was another point that I wanted to make about when we saw Coach Yano at his annual charity golf outing on Monday, I wanted to ask him, and you also gave me the idea to ask him, like, I didn't get around to asking, unfortunately, but like what exactly is the secret sauce to the official visits? Because obviously you have all the flash and all that stuff with like, going to New York City, going to the beach, all that fun stuff, but I mean, I feel like a lot of programs, they can't match the beach in New York City. Not many can, but like, what is it that gets them to commit immediately? I mean, that's what we all wonder. And that's what's been going so well for Rutgers in recruiting.
I think it's a combination of things. Like obviously they start off their visits Well, number one, they build relationships. They've always been very good at building relationships under Schiano, whether it be from years ago, whether it be from months ago, whether it be from a week ago in Jermaine Polk's case. They are just able to build that bond really quickly. They're able to show a ton of love to the kid. I think there's a lot of old school methods too that they do. I love the fact that they still send handwritten letters to these kids. Mail is so outdated. Like the U.S. Postal Service, no offense, but like it is extremely outdated. Like you just use Gmail. Like, oh yeah, I could just send this kid a bunch of different emails, type it up. It's so much easier. It's so much quicker. But when that kid like tweets out, like they love that stuff too. You see every kid tweet out the 15 to 20 different letters that they write or they handwritten, and it's all handwritten too, which mind you, that's a lot of fucking time to send out what you got to figure their head. They have 50 top targets, and then every single coach, like 20 coaches for 50 kids per kid. Like that's a lot of fucking letters. But
I wouldn't be able to handle that with my handwriting.
no, it's just like, and you see some of them. They're not, don't get me wrong, they're definitely chicken scratch. But hey, they say bad handwriting equals smarts, or you're a little bit smarter, right, or something like that.
They
Wasn't
do?
like yeah, it wasn't Albert Einstein like one of the worst like handwritings of all time, but
Probably.
genius. So just like Albert Einstein, this podcast is just filled with geniuses. Anyway, it's that it starts from the get-go, building those relationships. On top of it, it's these official visits where you start out with New York City. You're there for about an hour, and they're like, "Hey, let's get in the car. New York City's down the road." And it's like, "Wait, what? Okay, cool." Not only New York City, you're going to get like some of the best restaurants in the world, and there's just superstars walking around left and right. Now, mind you, you're not always going to run into Shaquille O'Neal when walking through New York City. I've never ran into him, and I've been there about 100 times. So that is always cool. It's always kind of a flex too when Shaq knows your head coach and says, "Oh, hey, what's up, Greg?" And it's like, "What the fuck? You know that guy?" Like, yeah, I know Shaquille O'Neal. He's a Jersey guy, whatever. But the beach the next day is such a selling point. Especially for a lot of kids who aren't near the shore. I think Riverside is a couple hours into Pennsylvania, so you're not really near the shore. Lakes are cool and all. Don't get me wrong. I'm a beach guy personally. I could not live away from the beach. I think you're in the same boat there. So it is a major selling point between the ocean, the vibes at the beach. They have basically like a barbecue. There's a tent with food. There's cornhole. There's spike ball. The people are jumping in the ocean. I know Daryl Rivers was there, jumped in the ocean, mind you, the May 30th weekend, which it was not extremely cold. It was definitely cold still. And he like jokes around. He's like, "Oh, I almost drowned. I've never been in the ocean." And it's like, "Oh, Jesus, dude, like, just be careful." But between those two things, between all the meals, I think it's all just a major selling point. Like it's just, and then of course NIL plays a factor too. Like you'd be crazy not to mention it. And Rutgers in football has some serious NIL money to work with, and it's showing on not only the high school recruiting trail, but you just had a top 10 portal haul as well. So I just think overall, it's just an easy sell when it comes down to everything together. Plus, they're getting better. Their trajectory is up. They had multiple bowl games in a row. Now they got to start winning multiple bowl games in a row, and then you get to that next level, and then the next level, and then eventually, hopefully, the college football playoff if all goes according to plan. But yeah, I mean, I think this is huge for Rutgers. Can't state that enough.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's obviously it's not going to stay this way, but Rutgers class now ranks 9th nationally in the rivals team rankings, sandwiched between Illinois and Texas A&M. Now, granted, Illinois has 18 commits and Texas A&M has 13. 12 of them are 4 stars for Texas A&M, but Rutgers is still competing pretty well. I mean, they have 5 4 stars, 18 3 stars. This class has really just been building really, really well. Obviously, it's going to change when some of the 5-star guys and a lot of the higher rated guys make their decisions. But I mean,
Of course,
it's hard not to be. I mean, you'd be crazy not to be happy with how this class has gone so far, especially given how many commitments they're getting. Where it's like, all right, it seems like it might go another way. We'll bring him on an official visit to see if we can sway him, and they do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy because I really thought going into official visit season, this was probably Oklahoma's to lose, and it was. They lost it. So I know Oklahoma's like head coach, obviously Brett Venables. It might not be there much longer, so I'm sure that probably plays a factor. Whereas Greg Schiano is locked in until he retires, basically. So yeah, this is just a huge get. Went over his game, went over his film. The offer list, I didn't even talk. I know we talked a little bit about it. I want to talk more about it because some people see top 5s of like Alabama, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Penn State, Rutgers, and you hear me talking specifically about 3 of those schools. So you like to think like, okay, Alabama and Notre Dame really aren't that serious, but it's not true at all. Like all these other schools just came in and got involved very, very recently. I'm looking now. Where was it? South Carolina and Maryland offered this March. I'm trying to get him on campus. South Carolina actually got him on campus a week later. Oklahoma State had him for an official visit back in April. Tried to land him there. Tried to get it over and done with. It didn't work. Alabama offered April 15th. Notre Dame offered April 20th. Florida, didn't even mention them, offered April 26th. This is recent offers. Like, this isn't like, this is them saying like, oh shit, like maybe we can get involved with this kid. Like maybe if he is leaning Rutgers, we can kind of get involved and try to get him, but it doesn't end up working out that way. Shiano locks it down. And I think the biggest thing of all, I keep saying this, he was a Penn State lean for the longest time. He had no decision planned until immediately following his Rutgers visit. He was going to go to Penn State this upcoming Friday. Ended up canceling that visit completely and said, nope, I'm going to decide on June 11th. And lo and behold, it is Rutgers. And shout out to Julian Campenny, because I feel like we don't talk about him enough on the recruiting trail, but he built a very strong bond here and lands a defensive tackle, solid defensive tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Forget how many defensive tackles does Rutgers have in this class now? I want to say that that's their third, right?
Two.
Oh, second. Okay, so
Jermaine
they have Branch and Jermaine Polk's the other one. Okay, cool. Yeah, so really big fan of this commitment. We've already talked a lot about it. Just I was surprised again that it ended up going this way. But I guess good thing for Rutgers that it did.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because I don't want to end it just yet. I want to keep going as long as we can, but future commits. Now, they're not done at defensive tackle. They hosted Amir Clark this past weekend. He was at Georgia Tech. I think he has Wake Forest this weekend. Let me double check on that one real quick. He's an Osceola High School, Florida kid. I know after talking to his head coach, ironically, I tried reaching out to this weekend, was on a cruise. So had to leave him there. Couldn't even bother him that much, but he'll be at UCF this weekend. We know UCF's pushing a lot for in-state kids, out-of-state kids too, actually. They landed a somewhat Rutgers target in Dante Carr, the tight end. And then he'll be at Syracuse June 20th. Syracuse is struggling mightily on the recruiting trail. There's no secret about it. But either way, I think if Rutgers decides to push here, they could land him. Now, I don't think Rutgers was anticipating getting Polk immediately like that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, because he did still have a couple other Midwest official visits. Tavian Branch, of course, this really didn't come together fully, officially, until like a couple days ago. So, mind you, they were pushing for Clark, so that's hence the future cast there. I still think they have a good shot at Clark if they decide to push, but we're going to have to wait and see. I do think he'll end up taking those other two official visits. He's very adamant about taking those and then making a decision. On top of that, they started reaching out to other defensive tackles across the country. No specific names yet, but as always, they'll be on the round table soon enough. So they do definitely want one more in this class. Who's that going to be? To be determined at this moment. And my betting odds are probably on Amir Clark, but there's probably going to be a couple different names to keep an eye on over the next couple days, weeks, because there's still two more official visit weekends. Well, one more for Rutgers as of right now, but they could host on the 20th. So anything else, Alec, before we kind of sign off here?
For this commitment, I think that's about it. We talked about, I think, a lot of what there is to talk about. So, I guess we can probably talk about some of the other official visits happening this weekend later on in the week. But for Tavian Branch, I think that's about all we got.
6th kid from the state of Pennsylvania, a state that they really haven't hit up too much since Greg's return. I know there's been like a couple here or there. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't even know who was from Pennsylvania over the past couple cycles, but it sounds like they might not be done yet in Pennsylvania either, because Jesse Moody was just on campus, and it sounds like he's kind of leaning Rutgers, but another kid that's probably going to take more official visits. But to go into Pennsylvania, not one, not two, technically stole 3 from under Penn State's nose, because it sounds like they wanted all 3 originally. Also landed a solid quarterback, landed a 4-star tackle that Penn State really didn't go after, and then landed a really impressive kid in Logan Anthony, who technically, I guess if we go back to defensive tackle talk, could be a defensive tackle at that next level. So I think he'll start out at the offensive line. We'll see what he does there. I know Pat Flatts is very high on him, but Rutgers does it again. Another commitment, 23rd in their top 10 class, number 9, you said right now?
Number 9 according to Rivals rankings. Also, the trio,
1 point away from 8.
Or not even trio. All the Pennsylvania kids that they've gotten this year, they didn't get any in 2025 or 2024. The last one was 2023 when they got Devon Fuse.
Volunteers, forgot about that one.
Yeah, so I didn't even realize. I thought they would have gotten at least one or two in those two classes. Even looking back to 2022, obviously Samuel Brown, Anthony Johnson, and Sinnett, those three from Pennsylvania. They did very well in Pennsylvania in the 2022 class. But yeah, they've really gotten back to it this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a class. And I will say this: if you aren't on our boards, sign up now. It's free. It's easy. It's simple. I don't have a promo code to give you at the moment, but if you wait till July 1st, you'll probably get one. Wink, wink, hink, if you kind of know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I can guarantee you that if you hit subscribe down below on the YouTube or follow us on, what are we on right now? Facebook or Twitter. There's a very good chance that we'll be on here again very, very soon for another edition of the Night Report podcast. Just saying. But that's pretty much all I got. Alec, we good here?
I think so. I think we have exhausted most of what we needed to get to.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. That being said, you take it away. Actually, you're being Mike today.
That's true. I am. Yeah. So Tavian Branch commits to Rutgers again, top 10 class for the Scarlet Knights. But that's all we got for this one. Again, like Richie said, make sure to follow and subscribe and do all that fun stuff and sign up for the boards and all that, make sure to do all that, please, because it's great stuff. But anyways, for my co-host Richie O'Leary, I'm Alec Cradham saying so long for this edition of the Night Report podcast. We'll see you in the next one.